YouTube, what's going on? Gino Bonino here. I'm going to make this short and sweet if possible. These are books that I'm going to drop to CGC. I've got two piles. One I'm going to have a pre-screen on, one I'm not. I'll try to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing to kind of give you an idea. For those of you that are brand new to pressing, this is actually kind of important stuff to know. This took me a while to learn. Not everything is worth getting slabbed. And some things are for different reasons, and I'll again try to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. It'll make a little bit of sense. In essence, really quick, I've got two piles. One is more modern books, and that I'm putting a pre-screen of a 9.6 or better. I was originally going to do 9.8, but I'm like, well, it's down there, so we might as well have it, since it's there, might as well have it slabbed. Typically, if you're going to sell a book, and it screens at a 9, and it comes in at a 9.6. Normally, you'll make your money back. I call it a break-even grade, because when you think of the cost of obtaining a book, having it cleaned and pressed if you decide to do it, and then the cost of having it graded, shipped back, insured, etc. Normally, that's rather pricey, and if you have a 9.6, you can normally sell it and make back all your money. You can break even. 9.8 is ideally what you want with more modern books. The idea being, obviously, with that, you can make a slight profit and then turn that into more comic books if that's how you do it, and that's how I do it. But anyway, that's how it works. The other one is a little bit older books, Silver Age, etc. The reason I like to get those slabbed is because, A, for preservation reasons, it makes it less likely that somebody's going to ding it up. It's going to get dropped or looked at and messed with or fingerprinted and all that. The other thing is, if you ever do turn around and want to sell a Silver Age or a valuable book, people are a little bit more concerned with the quality of the book. In other words, making sure that it hasn't been tampered with, that there hasn't been any color touch, any trimming, any kind of restoration whatsoever. A lot of times people will have a book in their collection they didn't even know was restored. They bought it from somebody that didn't disclose it to them because they didn't know. So what's nice about getting those Silver Age books and books of that nature graded is because it kind of is the buck stops here. Somebody, a professional, has looked it over, has determined that it hasn't been trimmed, hasn't been messed with whatsoever, and they'll grade it and give you a label saying such. So it just makes it a little bit more of a secure and easier sale online. If you're selling in person, I don't think so much important. Most people can, with black lights and things like that, can tell for themselves if a book has been restored. But for online sales, and the town I live in, most of the stuff that if I'm going to sell it, I would do so online, just simply because it's a little bit smaller place. It's not, super easy to turn around and sell a high dollar book here. A little bit easier online. There's pros and cons to both, obviously, but that's something for another video. So let's get right to it. The first pile we're going to do is my pre-screen books. The idea being that these grade in at 9.6 or 9.8 or get kicked back to me as a fail. And the first one we're going to do is kind of the biggie in the lot. If it comes back as a 9.8, this is Dr. Solar from Valiant. This thing that you're seeing right there is on the bag, not on the book. If this comes in a 9.8, I don't want to give it away. All I can say is open up your browser, go to eBay, and type in Solar Man of the Atom, number 10, 9.8 CGC, and you're going to be surprised on the result. It's crazy because there's a lot of them that unfortunately don't make the grade because of the fact that they're black, cardstock, shiny paper. They show fingerprints very easily. They ding up easy. They tend to have clipped corners, things of that nature, and because of that, there's not a ton of them out there that are 9.8s. The difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8 is over $1,000. So I'll give you that much of a hint as far as what they go for a 9.8. But again, a crazy book to get in a high grade. So we'll see what happens. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I don't see anything wrong with it, but that doesn't mean that I haven't looked under a microscope or anything like that either. Next I've got a few of these. I've talked about it earlier. I kind of bought quite a few of these back in the 90s. Spider-Man 361. I'm getting 2 of them slabbed. I had quite a few slabbed before. That's the direct copy, and we're also doing a newsstand. 2 of my better copies. We'll see what happens. Next is another Valiant book, Eternal Warrior #4, being the first cameo appearance of Bloodshot. Used to be a really, really hot book, and then it went down to dollar box, and now because of the movie, it's picking back up again a little bit. I've got 4 of those we're going to have slabbed just because all 4 are in really tight shape, really nice books. And I figure since we're doing 1, we might as well do 4 and see if 1 doesn't pass. And 3 do. That's good. Next is Avengers No Surrender 684. First Immortal Hulk. Got 2 of those, and we're going to have slabbed. Sorry about that. 2 of those we're going to have slabbed, and we'll see what happens. Going back to Valiant, we got Ray #4, just kind of a super rare Valiant book, especially the fact that this was pre-Unity. This was probably this title wasn't selling super well about now, so they didn't print very many of them. I don't know exactly what the print run is, but I know it's low for a mainstream comic book. Another one, got 2 copies of that, and we also have #3. Once again, low print books. I don't know what one of the 2 is more rare, but I know they're both fairly rare. I just really dig the dragon and the Asian feel of the book. I just really like it. So once again, I had them. They're in nice shape, so we decided to go ahead and get them looked at. Spider-Man 265, First Silver Sable. Sandman #1, really nice tight copy. And #8, First Death. And then this same idea being here, what we're going to do is we're going to throw a bunch of these and see if any or all of them come in at 9.6 or better. Don't know, but this is one of those books where if you can do it at 9.6, 9.8, you're good. If it comes in 8.5, not so much. So we're going to do a bunch of them and see what happens. We've got one, Spider-Man 2099, first appearance in his own book, obviously not the first all around. And we're going to send in 3, 4, 5 of those. See what happens. Again, I do know that it's a nice book to have if you can get a good, nice high grade on it. On that same vein, Spider-Man 265, the hologram, and the main reason this is kind of a nice book to have slabbed is it's the first appearance of the guy that I just got done showing you, Spider-Man 2099. I have a feeling that he's going to be making an appearance based on the end of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think he's going to be making an appearance on the next movie, and if that's the case, this book will probably lay pretty dormant again. It kind of jumped up after the movie and is sort of plateaued a little bit, but as soon as it's announced that he is, hopefully, going to be in the next Spider-Man movie, animated movie from Sony, I have a feeling that it'll jump back up again. I've got a couple of those. Same kind of principle, throwing a bunch at the wall and seeing if any of them stick or if any of them do the 9.8. So that's what we're doing. These are nice copies. I've got a few of these, and again, I kind of picked the best ones that I had to see how they do. Next one is a Valiant book. This is Magnus Robot Fighter #12. This used to be just a slamming hot book. Very difficult to find. We'll see what happens. Next is one of my favorite Moon Knight covers, 57 with Spider-Man on it. I just dig the book. I really like the cover, and for that reason, that's why I'm getting it. I think the artist here, if I remember right, was Stephen Platt. Stephen used to be a hot artist, kind of like, the guys that Matina and etc. that you talk about today. Stephen Platt was then. Any book that he did the cover for or did the interior art instantly jumped in price just because people collected him as an artist. He kind of slipped away a little bit to obscurity, but I just love that cover. So That's it. We're going to do Bloodshot 6, first cameo of Ninjak. And once again, we've got a few of those. We're going to see how they do. 4. And we've got first Bloodshot 0. Yeah. Where's it? 1. Bloodshot 1. Again, not his first appearance, but his first solo book. We're going to just do 2 of those. I picked the 2 that are the best. These, once again, show fingerprints real easily and tend to ding up really easy. So you want to watch them, watch when you pick those if you want one that's graded. Harley Quinn #1 in her cool roller derby, I guess, outfit. And Spider-Gwen #1. And then Spawn. There's a bunch of these floating around. Unfortunately, none of these are newsstand copies. These I got direct from Diamond, but certainly I think worth grading, just simply because pretty soon the movie's going to start getting some more chatter, and even though there's a lot of these around, having a graded copy kind of puts them in a new, kind of a different echelon for collectors. I think I got 7 or 8 of these that we're sending in, or dropping off, I should say. Lobo #1. I just heard that he's getting his own TV show. I see him getting used in DC ads right now. He looks kind of pretty cool. So I just like the book. Once again, an iconic cover with the red eye and all that kind of stuff. Spawn 185. Sort of a important issue. Savage Dragon #1, and the only reason I'm getting this one slabbed is because it's a newsstand. Harbinger #1 with the coupon. And Guardians of the Galaxy 25, the variant. And last one is Carnage, Web of Venomborn, #1. The main reason is because the being the variant cover with the swipe of Spider-Man. Is it 316, 317? I'm not sure. But anyway, the one where this is Venom and this is Spider-Man, as opposed to the way it is here. And that is it for my pre-screen book. So everything that I just showed you, we're putting in with a 9.6 or 9.8, or kick it back to me. And we'll see what happens. Again, I've kind of babied the books. I've taken very good care of them. I've pressed them, cleaned them, and we'll see what happens. Next bunch of books, we're at 13 minutes here. Next bunch of books, I'll make this quick, is going to be slab it no matter what happens, and hope for the best. Again, these are usually a little bit more valuable books, with the exception of the very first one. But again, stuff that I do want slabbed. Don't have any expectations. I don't want to get my hopes up, because you'll be sure to get disappointed. If you say, I know for a fact this book's going to grade at a 9.0 and it comes back a 7, you get really bummed. So the best thing to do is just do your best, do your work in the front end, which is clean them up, make them look nice, inspect them as best you can, and then ship them out and see what happens. And one thing I should say really quick, these are estimates. I'm not 100%. Some of these books that I just showed you, I haven't gone through yet with a fine-tooth comb. I may decide to kick some of them back. So again, this is my guess that I'm going to do. However, these I'm quite sure that I'm going to show you next. I'm quite sure I'm going to do, but the first lot, not so much. First one. This is slab it no matter what it comes in at. This is Young Avengers #1. This is a real, well, actually, let's show this one first. This is Hulk 181. This is probably about a mid-grade copy. Had some slight little rips and ticks and things like that to it. It's still a nice book, definitely worth slabbing. But again, I'm not, I don't have high hopes for that. But I do have high hopes for that one. This one is probably one of the prettier copies I've seen. I don't want to make any estimations or guesstimates. All I can say is I can't see too much wrong with this book at all. If you can probably tell, by holding it up to this one that it's nice and bright and colorful, like it should be. Again, we'll see what happens. We're going to let her go and let the chips fall where they may. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I would like to get something above I'd like to get a 9 or better for that, to be completely honest with you. But again, I'll take whatever I get. Giant Size X-Men #1. Once again, probably a mid-grade book. A little bit older, well-read book. Again, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on that one too. Iron Man and Submariner. First time that they're together. Actually, my understanding is this predates Iron Man's first appearance in his own book. So, again, this is a really, really sweet copy of it. And I do have 2 of these, so I'm getting them both slabbed. My guess is when Submariner starts getting his own movie, whether he's going to be in his own movie or whether he's going to be paired up with Doctor Strange or in the Black Panther movie, one of the two. My guess is that this issue will probably spike a little bit better than it's done now. It's an issue that hasn't gotten much love at all for many, many years, but I have a feeling, like I said, that it'll do better. Next is Captain America 100. Again, a pretty decent copy of it. There's not a whole lot wrong. And to go along with our Hulk 181, we've got first cameo of Wolverine. This I bought at the same exact time as the 181, the nice one that I showed you. So this is a real sweet copy of it. Again, no spine ticks, nice tight corners. I don't know if you can tell, but I mean those corners are sharp. Little dulling, not super, super bright, but again, just a pretty, pretty color book. Next one I'm not 100% sure on, but I think I'm going to do it. It's Unity 0, gold label. These gold books are something people often look for, collectors, just because they're much more rare. Normally they were sendaways or they were incentives given to shop owners, things of that nature. So there's not a ton of them around. There's people that specifically collect that stuff. Then we've got our good old-fashioned Ray or Rye Zero. We've got 1 copy of that, excuse me. We've got 2. We got 3. We got 4. We got 5. 5 copies, going to get them graded. No matter what to do, let's wait and see. I have a good feeling about them, but you never know. Next is Submariner #1. A little yellowing, but again, a nice, sharp, sweet copy of this book. No creases, nothing like that. Tight corners, should do well. Next is Spider-Man #9, first Electro. Nice copy of it. And these are my 2 favorite books. The only reason I'm getting these graded is because these are the first books that I bought when I got back into collecting. I could never afford them before, but even though the story was my favorite, I've talked about it many, many times, and that is the Death of Green Goblin, issue 121 and 122. Again, probably these, of all the books I'm showing you, even the Hulk, this is one of my favorite books, just because, again, the story it just captivated me. It's, so we'll see what happens. Spider-Man 50, first Kingpin. Iconic cover. Sadly, it's got couple little tears by the cover's attached, but it's got a couple tears by the staples, so we'll see how it goes. Last but not least, we've got Spider-Man #7, Vulture. Again, a pretty decent copy. It's certainly worth getting slabbed. No huge creases down the middle or subscription creases or anything like that, so this should do well. And that is the bottom of the barrel. So once again, that's what I'm dropping off at CGC. I know it's gonna I don't want to think what it's gonna cost, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. This is I've been holding on, keeping a lot of this stuff. I should have probably sent smaller orders here and there, but this is my big kind of let it go. We'll see what happens. When the books come, I will let you know how they do. I certainly don't think they'll all come at the same time. Normally, the way they do it is they send them back in tiers. If it follows the normal pattern, I would say that my modern books will come back first, followed by the normally takes the older and Silver Age books and a little bit more expensive books. It seems like they go over those. They probably have a process or a presser that spends more, or I should say a person who looks them over spends more time on them. So they take quite a bit longer. I'm in no major hurry. There's nothing really, I don't have any deadlines or movies or anything like that coming out. So we'll let you know when we get them back. So that's it, guys. That is my CGC haul. That's the stuff I'm dropping off. Keep your fingers crossed. Wish good things, and we'll see what happens. And that is it for now. Talk to you later, guys. Bye for now, and I'll see you. Happy hunting. Bye-bye.